JBNN will keep you informed. I'm Michelle Jones. Before we get into the news, please remember to like, subscribe, leave a comment, and share the news with family and friends today. Now on to the news. Chinese supermarket operator beaten with hammer in Christiana. A manhunt has been launched for a man said to be of unsound mind after he allegedly used a hammer to physically assault a Chinese supermarket operator in Christiana, Manchester on Wednesday. Police said at about 10 a.m., the man got into an altercation with a Chinese businessman after he was accused of shoplifting. In a video, which has since gone viral on social media, 3 men were seen in a tussle. Subsequently, a man believed to be the Chinese businessman managed to pin down the man said to be of unsound mind before letting him go. Hours later, at about 1:16 p.m., the man said to be of unsound mind reportedly returned to the scene and attacked the Chinese businessman with a hammer, delivering several blows to the neck before escaping. The matter was subsequently reported to the police, who revealed that at that time, both altercations were documented and investigations launched. The Chinese businessman has since been admitted to hospital. Police said they have identified the suspects and efforts are underway to locate him. Alleged main player in Rosestown violence is now in police custody. The man who was listed as one of the main players in the flare-up of violence in the Rosestown community is now in custody. The alleged gang leader, who goes by the name Guanbad, surrendered to the Kingston Central Police on Wednesday night. Meanwhile, 4th and 9 men listed as persons of interest in relation to the gang violence in the Rosestown community of Maxfield Avenue are also in custody. This was disclosed by Senior Superintendent Michael Phipps, head of the Kingston Western Police Division. He said members of the security forces have been conducting operations in search of the men behind the violence.
Yes, we are still treated with the recent upsurge of gang activities within the Rosestown community. And of course, we have sought and obtained an extension of the 48 hours curfew, and that is at 6 p.m. yesterday. We have seen where 5 of the persons listed as persons of interest have come in to report to the investigators. 1 has since been released, and the others remain in custody pending further investigations. In the same breath, we are urging the other named persons to report to us as we are continuing our operation activities in the area, and of course we have the support of the JDF and other police formations.
Money dispute among gangsters led to 8 being shot at wake. 8 people were hit early Wednesday morning as gunshots rang out during a wake held in Back Pastures, Point Hill in St. Catherine, to mourn the passing of the grandmother of reggae entertainer Christopher Martin. As the dust settled after 2 gunmen opened fire on the gathering, one of the 8 victims lay dead and the others were rushed to hospital. The attackers left the usually peaceful rural community in shock and fear. Eyewitnesses report that the gunmen, after the initial assault, reloaded their guns and resumed their attack. Among the victims was 34-year-old O'Neill Spencer, who escaped the first round of shooting but was killed in the second assault after emerging from his hiding place. Spencer's death has left a void in his family, particularly for his partner and their 4 children, the youngest of whom is just 10 months old. "I'm a provider for we," said the mother of his children, visibly holding back tears. "It a go hard for we, especially him 8-year-old son who always around him father. Me don't even know what to say." Meanwhile, Deputy Prime Minister and the National Security Minister, Dr. Horace Chang, said reports indicated that the shooting resulted from an internal gang conflict relative to a dispute over money that was derived from scamming.
Very unfortunate incident, and again it raises the sensitivity of the community given what has happened recently, and the police response is what will in fact give reassurance to the community, and they certainly have done major work since morning. They've apprehended and identified several of the individuals. There are 2 there particularly. I think they have 1 out of the 2. This was appeared to have an internal gang operation. In this case, although St. Catherine, they were calling over sharing of scamming money. And the individuals identified going to this big wake, which is, as many are aware now, so I can call the name. It was Chris Martin's grandmother. And when he was seen, 2 of the members were upset with him, went after him. young man ran into the crowd for protection, but they kept firing at him. He was killed, and then 6 people were injured in the association. In the background, there's some unfortunate events surrounding it, of course, beside that, because Chris Martin going to a wake is going to be a big event, and the police should have been informed. I am told that they were not aware of it until the shooting came about. And I want to use the opportunity to inform the wider society. Cooperation with the police means keeping them informed, not only of breaches of law, but when they're having gatherings and activities, please inform the police.
The mass shooting comes just days after another violent incident in Gregory Park, where gunmen killed 2 patrons at a bar on Main Street, leaving 1 person hospitalized, and a week after the Cherry Tree Lane massacre in Fort Potts, Clarendon, that claimed the lives of 8 people, while leaving at least 10 others injured. Wicked and Detroit charge for allegedly shooting at women and a 14-year-old student. Swift investigations by the Kingston Western Police resulted in the arrest on charge of 2 men for allegedly shooting at 3 people, including a 14-year-old student. The men were charged on Wednesday in connection with the attempted shooting of 2 women and the child on Bentley Lane in Kingston on Friday. Charged are 35-year-old Keon Campbell, otherwise called Wicked, an auto electrician from Coral Gables Drive in Independence City, Portmore, St. Catherine, and David Simmons, otherwise called Troy, 28, a farmer from Tory Crescent in Rosetown, Kingston 13. They are charged with 3 counts of shooting with intent, possession of a prohibited weapon, unauthorized possession of ammunition, and using a firearm to commit a felony. Reports indicated that around 1:54 p.m., the 3 people were standing along the roadway having a conversation when 3 gunmen on foot opened fire at them. The 3 people ran off, evaded the gunmen, and managed to escape injuries, the police said. The accused men were among 9 people named as persons of interest by the police. They were asked to turn themselves over to the authorities on Saturday, which they did. They were charged based on witness statements and after an interview. Dr. Chang denounces attempts to discredit JCF crime statistics. National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang says attempts to discredit the Jamaica Constabulary Force's crime statistics are disturbing. Dr. Chang says the suggestion undermines the work of the police. A security expert who spoke on condition of anonymity challenged the validity of the murder figures, claiming that people who are shot and die after a protracted period of hospitalization are often labeled as undetermined deaths and not murders. Dr. Chang says the method of accumulating statistics has been in use for more than a decade.
To seek to question those statistics now is undermining the work of the police. It is disrespectful of the police force, and the democratic society could be considered treacherous when violence is as high as it is today, quite frankly. It is certainly highly unethical to raise issues of the work of the police force in a society in which we still have extremely high violence, especially when the police is beginning to get the results that we all seek to have. Whatever narrow interest drives that questioning, and that attempts to undermine our police force is certainly not in the best interest of the country. This government, at the very beginning of its administration, indicated that we viewed crime as a priority. Crime is a priority to settle crime. But there was a need to retool and expand the police force. We used some strong legislative measures, which has come under pressure from public, but the fact we always accepted that we had to invest in the police. We have reached what we consider a tipping point. The police currently have its establishment by recruiting over 6,000 police officers in the last 5 years. Young, bright officers who do not see police as a job of last resort. They are committed to their cause and mission as professionals.
Health Ministry heightened surveillance for Mpox. The Health and Wellness Ministry has heightened its surveillance of ports of entry in Jamaica. This as the ministry remains on the alert for a possible reintroduction of Mpox in the country. Mpox is an infectious disease which causes flu-like symptoms and painful skin lesions. It can be transmitted by close contact and droplet exposure. Portfolio Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton gave the update at a virtual media briefing on Thursday.
So I want to use the opportunity to, first of all, alert the country on the developments related to Mpox. And of course, this is formerly called monkeypox, but we no longer refer to it as monkeypox, so it's Mpox. This is to bring to the forefront of our minds the precautions and interventions necessary should the virus re-enter Jamaica. and notice I say re-enter because we've had before, and I'll comment on that later. So on the advice of the International Health Regulations Emergency Committee of Independent Experts, the World Health Organization, WHO, determined that the upsurge of Mpox in the Democratic Republic of the Congo and a growing number of countries in Africa constitutes a public health emergency of international concern under the International Health Regulations Act. On August 14th, 2024, the WHO declared Mpox as such and noted that the virus had the potential to spread further across countries in Africa and possibly outside of the continent. A public health emergency of international concern is defined, for purposes of all, as an extraordinary event which is determined to constitute a public health risk to other states through the international spread of disease and to potentially require a coordinated international response. This definition implies a situation that is serious, sudden, unusual, or unexpected. It carries implications for public health beyond the affected states, national border, and may require immediate international action. As a reminder, Jamaica recorded its first case of Mpox in July 2022. Between then and March 2023, the country had recorded a total of 21 confirmed cases. And the breakdown of this over those years would be 2022, 18 cases, 2023, 3 cases, and to date in 2024, we have had no case, even though we had one suspicion, but it was confirmed as negative at one of our hospitals. Of the confirmed cases, 18 were male and 3 were female, with age ranging from 16 to 52 years. All cases were classified as clad 2, which I believe the medical team can provide further explanation on, subject to confirmation that one of our closest neighbors, Cayman, has recorded 2 cases of monkeypox. So it is, we will await confirmation on that, but the reality is that we do expect the risks because of the openness of our borders, the normalness of travel and international travel, and of course the interaction with persons from far and wide, hence the importance of the conversation now, even though we are not yet seeing a case in Jamaica. It is to be noted that in non-endemic countries such as Jamaica, 1 case is considered an outbreak. The virus is a class 1 notifiable disease, as said earlier, means that clinicians should report suspected cases immediately to the parish health department and the ministry's national surveillance unit, regardless of whether they are exploring other potential diagnoses. I would like to say too for the public that if you observe and you suspect or you have symptoms or others have described and you can visually see things that suggest the possibility of, then encouraging those persons to visit their doctor would be the best option. This means that as of Thursday, August 22nd, 2024, there have been no cases of Mpox reported. However, due to the public health risk associated with a single case of Mpox, members of the public should take the necessary precaution to safeguard themselves from this disease. The government, through the Ministry of Health and Wellness, has heightened its surveillance and notes that the overall goal of surveillance, case investigation, and contact tracing in this context is to break chains of human-to-human transmission and to stop the outbreak. Surveillance is critical, therefore, at this time to rapidly identify cases and, by extension, with each case, the clusters, in order to provide optimal clinical care, isolate cases to prevent further transmission, identify, manage, and follow up contacts to recognize early signs of infection, to protect frontline health workers and identify risk groups, and tailor effective control and prevention measures. Our key actions at this time will focus on the following: heightened surveillance at our ports of entry. This means that we will increase messaging at our ports, and we will interview travelers who have visited countries of interest in the last 6 months. Anyone with symptoms will be treated according to our protocols. Persons without symptoms will be issued health alert cards and told to contact the health department if they develop symptoms. In other words, we are monitoring the countries where Mpox is present, and persons coming into Jamaica from those countries of concern may be subjected to a higher level of surveillance questioning by the health team. But generally, we will post appropriate notification at our ports of entry so persons can be aware of symptoms and the precautions that need to be taken. This may mean some inconvenience, and we ask for persons' patience if they have to be inconvenienced, because this for us is an important issue, and it is our obligation to protect the population and to protect those who may be affected. There will also be increased surveillance in our health facilities, as persons with suggestive symptoms and travel history will be tested and treated according to our protocols. Members of the public are also to advise the health department if they develop signs and symptoms. I spoke to that earlier. Additionally, the ministry has begun its national public education and community engagement program, and again, I implore all Jamaicans to be on alert and to take the necessary precautions to safeguard yourself, your family from Mpox, as well as other viral illnesses. And that's it for now, basically. We're going to be ensuring that the country is made aware of this. I want to state that this is not an attempt at creating any panic or undue alarm. It's, however, an important notification to the public that this is a going concern, and we must prepare ourselves and protect ourselves to avoid infection, whether from one person or for a community. This is in the interest of our country, and this is how we have to treat with these things, particularly when they are declared an important going concern at the global level.
JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.